The Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Number to join us on the program this morning, if you ask a question or make a comment or just be a part of the show in some way, we're going to put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate you can use for anything you want over at the Service Center. Number to join us, 402-558-1110. If you're outside of the metro area, 888-250-2091. Give us a call, ask a question, make a comment, put you in the drawing, and maybe you'll be the lucky winner here today. All right, so quick recap, guys. If you missed last week's show, it is available up on the website at SchrockInnovations.com. It was a best of. I apologize, but hey, it was my son's Eagle Court. I had to kind of be there, so it's important. I did give you a quick live stream, though, on Sunday morning. I tried to make it as close to, normal after Schrock time as I could, and it surprised a few people to see it up there. But basically, I did a walkthrough of the user interface for the new version of Drive Advisor. There were a couple bugs in the demo, which is why it's not released yet. When you watch the demo, you'll see that there's a couple glitches still. We're working through those right now. We've got those. Everything you saw in the video has been fixed. There's a whole new set of glitches now that we can fix. This is what happens when you develop software. There are problems, and then when you fix the problems, sometimes the fixes for the problems create new problems in themselves. And that's one of the reasons why testing is so important, and it takes time to test. I want to let you know that Microsoft, one of the things we talked about last week on the program, was the new update that's coming for Windows 11, 2.3H2. That's 2023 half 2. So 2.3H2 is coming. The whisper date is October 10th, but that is like an internet rumor. So take it with a grain of salt, if you will. Could be later in the month. It could be tomorrow. We don't know. So whatever it happens, this is going to be a whole new operating system for Windows 11. So some people think, well, I have Windows 11, and if I'm getting an update for Windows 11, I still just have Windows 11, right? And what people don't realize is the way that Microsoft has done operating systems is completely different now. Gone are the days when you had Windows 95 and you upgraded to Windows 98, and then you upgraded to Windows Millennium, and then you upgraded from Windows Millennium to, Windows XP, and then Windows 7, and then Windows 8, and then Windows 10, and then Windows 11, right? Those days are gone. The numbers, it isn't just a number that increments anymore. There are sub-versions within each number. So Windows 11, for example, right now, most of you should be running 2.2H2, 2022's half 2 update. That's the last time Microsoft put out a new iteration of Windows 11. This time, when they put out Windows 11 2.3H2, they are literally changing almost everything. You're going to have different menus when you right-click. Different options are going to get moved around a little bit. They're getting rid of the backup utility, and they're replacing it with a whole new backup utility. We still do not know if your current backups that are set up will carry over. One of the things we've been checking on computers that come in for the Maintenance Checkup sale that wraps up at the end of the day today, by the way. That's almost up too. Is we've been checking people's backups because we want to make sure you've got a solid backup. Because if you get blindsided with this update and something goes sideways, if there's a glitch, which I'll guarantee there's going to be a glitch because they're still releasing fixes for it, and it's supposed to be released to the public in 10 days. So I'll guarantee you there's going to be a glitch. 20% of the people that get these updates historically have an issue with them. The computer doesn't reboot. They lose their data. Their profile disappears. So it reboots and there's just no icons, no files, nothing there. Or sometimes it gets stuck in an update loop where it keeps telling you it needs to do the update, and it tries to do the update and it fails, and it reboots and it undoes the update. Then it tries to do it again over and over and over. Meanwhile, it's completely shredding your solid state hard drive trying to do this update over and over and over again when it's not working. So there's a lot of different reasons why these things happen, a lot of different, horror stories I could share with you. But the main thing to remember here is about 20% of people are going to have an issue with this update, which is why we made Safe Upgrade. Because those 20%, the 20%, they tend to be the same 20% for some reason every time. And it got a little old having them come back in and being upset that they have to spend another $250 to fix their computer for a free update that Microsoft sent them. And, they're not mad at us, and we know that, but they're not happy either. And, we try to be a happy place. We try to keep the happy energy going over at Schrock. And when people come in and they're not happy to be there, well, it's one thing if you're getting something that you want when you buy something. It's another thing when you're forced to buy something that you didn't want because somebody gave you something that was supposed to be free. It tends to make people a little grumpy. So we made Safe Upgrade. It's like an insurance policy for this update. When we install Safe Upgrade on your computer, it will download the update from Microsoft, the entirety of the update, not just the pieces that Windows thinks you need for your computer, but the whole update. Then it will install that update safely the same way we would do it in the service center. And it reboots the computer, checks to make sure the update is installed, and then it's good to go. The Safe Upgrade software we're using this time around is a complete redesign from last year. So it's going to look a little bit different this time around when you get your Safe Upgrade software. But the beautiful thing about it is it's an auto-updating application now. So if you buy Safe Upgrade, if you're one of the 20% and you buy it every time, you're going to get automatic upgrades to the software. You won't have to download it over and over again. As long as you have a license in your account, you can just run it and it will update your computer and everything's right with the world. Those are a limited quantity, so we are running a little bit low on those. You can check that out at schrockinnovations.com. I did mention that, last week we talked about this as well, but that the Maintenance Checkup sale is coming to a close today. This show is tape delayed by a week, so Lincoln, we're going to give you an extra week to, because you're going to hear this today and be like, oh no, I got to do it today. It's not really fair. So, but everybody else, the sale ends today at 5. So if you're going to pick up a Maintenance Checkup certificate to use anytime in the next 6 months on your computer, you're going to have to do that either on our website or call into the service centers between noon and 5 today to do it over the phone, whichever way is easier for you. But don't miss out on this because this is the last Maintenance Checkup sale of the year. Of course, there's not going to be another one. Usually we do them in the spring, which is more than 6 months away right now. So if you're on schedule for a Maintenance Checkup every 6 months, which you're supposed to be, you want to stay on schedule. So pick up a certificate and then you've got one in your pocket when you need to come in and have us take a look at the computer again. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. So coming up on the program today, guys, we've got some interesting stuff. I had a listener actually email me and ask me to talk about the ExpressVPN's new Keys password manager. So ExpressVPN has introduced some new features, mainly because they're raising the price 17% and they need to introduce something to justify a 17% price increase. So we're going to talk a little bit about password managers today. A lot of people have questions about them. A lot of people want to use them. Even Ben in Schrock Business has been coming to us saying our corporate clients are asking us, what do you recommend for password managers? And so it's one of those things where Ben wants us to lock down a solid recommendation of a paid product that has a fiduciary responsibility to help you. And that's different than what you need as a consumer on your computer. So we're going to go through the differences in the password managers, how they work, what a zero trust system actually is. It sounds really bad. Like I have zero trust in that system. It's not going to work. No, zero trust is a good thing, actually. You're not trusting anybody with your passwords. So we're going to talk about all those different things on the program today. Also, today is the first of the month. So you are going to, for those of you who have Sophos, antivirus, or secure updater subscriptions that are expiring this month, you will be renewed here shortly. Just a heads up to if you see a charge on your account for $69.99 plus tax, like $72 and change, that's what that is. And if you see a 3209 charge, that's Secure Updater. So if you see those charges on your account, that's what they are. We did have about 40 people. We had a lot of people last month to renew. We have about 40 people who have not renewed their Sophos from last month. We are going to make one more attempt to reach out to all of you one more time before we wrap up your service. But it's really important, even if you don't want to renew your Sophos, that you get a hold of us, because we're the only ones that can uninstall it from your computer, and we can only do that within 90 days of the end of your subscription. After that, nobody can remove it, not even us. It's just there forever, and it's not working, and you don't want that. So let us remove it if you don't want it. We're happy to remote it, and there's no charge. We'll remove it for you. You don't have to come into the shop or anything. But if you get a call from us about Sophos, know that we need to interact with you in some way, either to keep that subscription going or to end it. So please give us a call back if you do get that call. Also, the iPhone 15 might be the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, that is, might be a little too hot to handle for some Apple customers. We're going to tell you what's going on there and why people's hands are getting literally burnt. That's not good. And also, this happened, I don't know, a little over a week ago. And I'm trying to, give everybody some time to, figure out what happened here. And then I was reading some articles about it. And from these articles, I realized that at this point, they probably have interviewed the pilot of that F-35, the guy who ejected, and the F-35 went on flying by itself. And they were like, they were putting like milk cartons out that says, "Have you seen this jet? Give us a call." What happened with that? I've heard rumors. I've heard things. I've got one gentleman who is very connected with the United States intelligence community who is telling me one thing, and I'm reading articles that are saying different things. So we're going to cover it on the show today. What exactly happened with the U.S. F-35 stealth fighter that a pilot ejected over the United States while his plane was on autopilot and continued to fly on by itself perfectly fine? Why would you eject from a perfectly fine flying airplane, even if you lost control of it? Like, it's still flying. It's still up in the air. It's like a $35 million aircraft or something. Like, I'm not going to just well, I'm sure it's fine. Something's not right. Something smells fishy here. So we're going to go through the details and let you make your own determination later on the program today as well. All right, 402-558-1110. Craig, welcome to the program. First caller of the day. How can I help you on Compute This?
Good morning, Thor.
Morning.
I recently you were just talking about Sophos, and I had an error message that came across Sophos, and I contacted the Papillion Service Centers, and it eventually got worked out, which was totally great. The two people that I work with were both named Austin,
Yeah.
and both of them were great. I told them I'd give them a shout out on the radio program today. But my real question is, I'm one of those people that I hate going to a store this time of the year, and they already have up the Christmas stuff. But I have to ask, when is the holiday special starting? Because my PC is old as can be and is barely limping along.
Well, it launches literally. I have it written on my sheet that I was going to say this today, and I skipped it because I kind of feel the same way you do. I was like, because my wife saw something the other day and she said it's only like X number of days until Christmas, and then she got that sick feeling in her stomach, like, oh gosh, there's so much to do. But the holiday special launches in 29 days.
Okay.
So I mean, it is coming very, very quickly. We are more prepared for this holiday special than I think we have. 50 units, 50 desktops already built and ready to go. We're going to have to update all of them when 2.3H2 comes out. I was like, guys, why did you program them? We may as well just waited to program them. And they're like, oh no, we'll just update them when it comes out. I'm like, okay, it's an extra step, but okay. But basically, the computers are built. The laptops are in stock in the Papillion Service Center. They're getting tricked out and built too. It takes a little bit longer on these because we have to change so many components in them to upgrade them to holiday special spec. But if you are one of those people that has been waiting for the holiday special, you will not be disappointed. This year is the 25th anniversary. It's the silver anniversary special of the holiday special, and I feel really bad for the 2024 holiday special because usually they get better every year. I'm not so sure how that's going to work out next year because this one is so flipping awesome this year. So we'll have later on, we're going to release all the specifications. We got some videos. We're doing some cinematography work with the display models right now. We have some new exciting upgrade options this year that we haven't had before. Not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody likes, RGB fans and things like that, the glowy fans and all that. But now you have them as an option. You can add them if you want to. You can add a gaming package if you want to. In fact, a radio station in Lincoln just gave away 3 holiday specials. So those are the first 3 that have gone out to the general public that were tricked out with the RTX 4070 gaming package. So they had the RGB fans, the graphics card, the upgraded power supply, and they're literally the most powerful gaming units that you could purchase locally right now. And of course, they were free from the radio station. They were doing a giveaway with us, but it's just such a versatile platform. It's kind of like the F-35, except you don't have to eject, and it just doesn't crash. It just does its job and then goes home. So no, it's an extremely versatile platform. The laptop is amazing as well. The screen is very special this year. The screen on this one is unlike any screen we have ever offered before in a holiday special. If you're a creator, if you're somebody who's a graphic artist, if you're somebody who enjoys doing that kind of work, this screen is going to be exactly what you're looking for. If you're a photographer, this is exactly the screen you are looking for. So we're pretty excited about the models this year. But yeah, you got like 29, 30 days. How many days are there anyway in October? Let me see. We've got
Halloween.
31 days in October. So it's 30 days. It's going to launch in 30 days, not counting today. So, yep. I waited for my Mustang since July. So, I mean, it's only 30 more days. You can do that standing on your head.
I feel a little bit selfish thinking of myself before my wife for the holidays, but this year I'm going to do it.
It's a gift for the family.
Oh, that's right.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. I appreciate the call today. 402-558-1110. Going to take a quick break. Greg, Patricia, you stay on the line, guys, and your calls will be coming up next on Compute This.
You would probably rather drink the water at Camp Lejeune than get another call about the desperate need to renew your car's expiring warranty. Who actually responds to those calls? Everyone wants to play the warranty game where you pay money now just in case you need service later that everyone hopes you won't need or use. It's such a waste. It's no different with computers. Major manufacturers' warranties have more subscript crosses than a Sunday morning church service. Batteries are exempt. Hard drives must be completely dead, and forget about anything that they can remotely claim as physical damage. That's why Schrock warranties are different. When you purchase a modular PC or a solid-state laptop and extend your warranty, we offer a no-risk money-back guarantee. If you need the warranty, you will be thrilled to have it. If you don't use it, we refund your money automatically every time. That's right, we are so confident in the quality of our products that our extended warranties are refundable. Many Schrock customers use their refunds to purchase another warranty or pocket the savings and move on. We all know you'll need it to cover that expiring car warranty anyway. Schrock's refundable extended warranties. Just another way the Schrock Innovations Computer Company makes your computer work for you.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back.
Computer problems usually don't just suddenly happen. Most failures usually start out as small issues with few or no symptoms. Over time, they grow into error messages, blue screens, and other problems that can be costly to fix. Schrock Innovations' biannual preventative maintenance checkup catches those small problems now before they can metastasize and become tomorrow's costly repairs. During the maintenance checkup, our experienced technicians perform up to 8 hours of tests, checks, automated repairs, and optimizations that keep your computer at peak efficiency while identifying potential issues while you still have options about how to handle them. When your computer gets its first checkup, it can see up to a 25% performance improvement and leaves our service center cleaned, sanitized, and running better than the day you bought it. Just about every complex device requires maintenance. Your computer is no different, especially considering the valuable information that passes through it every day. If you have not had your computer maintenance in the past 6 months, you are overdue. Stop in or call any of our service centers to arrange a free pickup to ensure your computer continues to work for you.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Quick reminder for those of you joining us late, you sleepy heads. It was kind of funny. Aaron on the Facebook page, we're broadcasting live, by the way, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. She writes on here that last week, it was a rerun last week. It was a best of last week. And in the best of, it's totally not a rerun, just best of. It's a best of the best shows all put together just for you. We just reran one. But anyway, Erin, she writes, she decided to sleep in that morning because it was a rerun. And the people at the physical rehab hospital had to check on her because they thought that something was wrong because she didn't get up at 6:30 for the show. And so, Erin, I'm glad to have you back with us this week. Thanks for joining us on the program. It's fun to have you here. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. This is the final day of the final maintenance checkup sale of 2023. You can be like Thomas here. Thomas is from Kansas, and he writes, I had 2 laptops done in the maintenance sale and 1 desktop done in Lincoln. The office is fun to find from US 77 when you haven't been there in a couple years. Well, you see, you're supposed to, I can give him some slack because he's in Kansas, okay? Drive all the way up from Kansas every 6 months. Okay, give him some, okay. But 2 years, Tom? 2 years? We're probably scraping stuff out of the inside of that thing. Come on now. All right, 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. Greg, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Are you there?
I am here, Greg, ready to go.
Okay. Hey, you answered my question. I called right away because I tried to get on the website last night to buy the warranty, and I couldn't get it done because I'm probably not technically advanced. So you answered the question earlier. That you still, I thought it ended yesterday. I'll be buying one today. That's all.
Hey, no worries. And then we'll get you in the drawing too. So if we can sneak you out a $25 credit here, that'll help you out a little bit as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for hanging on the line there, Greg. I really appreciate you joining us on the program today. Patricia, you're up next on the show. How can I help you on Compute This?
Yes, I guess your show on KFAB, when you were the talk show guy for a while, I guess that was way too shocking for people to stomach. So I guess now you're relegated to your little show on Sunday. But
Yep, they fired me. It was rough. Scott sat me down and he goes,
"We love you. I wish you had been there all the time, but I know you've got a business to run." But there's a couple of security questions I had a question for you. We have the email that I have a Gmail account. I've heard that Google Corporation has access to everything you do on that Gmail account. Is that right?
They know every keystroke you type when you're logged into your Google account.
Yeah, okay. The other, and is there a site that does not do that, or there's some sites that do not access your information as far as an email account?
Yes, there are. So basically there's a saying in the internet that goes something like this. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. So in other words,
right.
If you're paying for it, the odds of them using your data for to make money basically are much lower. So there's a lot of emails. So Proton Mail is one of the most popular ones out there.
Okay.
It'll cost I forget it's a monthly charge basically for the email account, but it's completely encrypted email. So basically it's from end-to-end encryption. So when you're sending stuff through, it's fully encrypted. You're protected there. Also, Proton Mail has a very strict privacy policy. They don't look at your stuff. They don't pay attention to what you're doing. They don't keep logs about what you're sending and how you're doing it. Therefore, if it was ever subpoenaed or anything like that, there is no log to hand over. Very much like the way ExpressVPN does their stuff. So that's one of them. Another one is Reagan.com, like the president. They have an email service as well. Very similar concept, a little bit smaller, but very similar concept. But the thing is that's important is the encryption, because all these email services, they don't have their own servers. They're all running it off Amazon or Google servers or third-party servers, cloud servers. So if everything is encrypted, it doesn't really matter what server. You could run it off a Chinese server, it wouldn't matter. But if it's not encrypted, then that's an issue. So the number one thing that you should look for if you're shopping for some kind of an email account online is that it's fully encrypted.
Okay, great. One other question as far as security. If a person has a telephone, landline, or a cell phone, again, is that something, all those phone calls are being recorded by the United States government and they could access those records later? Is that correct?
Well, one of the reasons that Edward Snowden is living in Russia right now is because he chose to expose some stuff that the Bush administration would have rather not had exposed at the time. And he revealed that the U.S. government is indeed collecting metadata on not just phone calls, but every email you send, every phone call you make, every text message you send, everything you do, which is why you shouldn't use the standard SMS messaging program on your phone. You shouldn't use the text message. You should use Signal or something that's encrypted.
I suppose even the United States mail service is potentially accessible by the United States government too, isn't it?
Oh, I would assume so, but I'm not so worried about the mail service because, they can't even deliver packages accurately. So my wife had a pair of boots that was returned to send her for an invalid address. And she's like, what? So she's like, oh, I'll have to reorder them. She goes to reorder them. They're out of stock. She goes, thank you, mailman. I appreciate it now. So anyway, but we just got a new mailman. So we got rid of we had a real bum before that, but there are some guys he was rough. He would yell at kids and scream at kids as he drove by, and it was if it says "Do not bend" photographs, he'd bend it and crease it right in front of you and stick it in the mailbox, and then bend the door on your mailbox when you close. I mean, he was a real winner. But they finally got rid of him. I don't know what you got to do to get fired from USPS, but when the entire neighborhood lines up in revolt against you and calls the postmaster general, But anyway, I digress, Patricia. But no, yeah, I would assume that there's access to data there as well, because all your mail is processed by computer now. So there's not a human sitting there sorting letters by addresses. That's why when you send mail, they want you to print in all capital letters and no cursive anymore. Like that's what the machines can read. So the machines are reading it and sorting it automatically, and then what can't be read or sorted automatically goes into a secondary. So you want your mail delivered faster, don't address it in cursive.
And I guess the only way we can get around this is to go into a forest that a drone cannot see into and put scars over our faces so when we talk we can't have our mouths read.
Yeah, it's
that's about the only way we can communicate without being spied on, it sounds like.
Well, the technological capabilities to do all kinds of nasty things are obviously there, and the thing that you the thing that you hope for is that we have this document called the Constitution that says you can't do that. The government should not be able to do that. And the government, for many reasons or whatever reasons, and sometimes people would consider valid reasons, has been doing that and continues to do that. And as a result, now there's a number of cases. This next Supreme Court session is going to be really interesting to watch because there are a number of cases involving the administrative deep state. So in other words, agencies making up their own rules that never go through Congress or a politician, or there's no way to vote it down or stop it. Kind of like the Sarpy County tax increases. There's no way to stop it. There's no way. People just blindly vote for every school bond that comes up. Whatever. It's for the children. And they don't think, they just vote, and then they wonder why their taxes keep going up. Well, it's the Supreme Court has some decisions they're going to be making that even if half of them go what I would consider the constitutional path. It's going to be a devastating blow to the administrative deep state where they just literally can't make rules anymore unless Congress makes the rule. And if the administrative state can't make rules anymore, then you can't have the ATF banning bump stocks, and you can't have the IRS deciding they're going to audit 80,000 more people or whatever because they need more cash. There's actually congressional direction that needs to be done, and Congress would say the government is too big and too complex. We can't even get a spending bill through. I mean, it gets so dicey. We pulled the flippin' fire alarm yesterday to try to slow it down. It's like, oh my gosh, literally a Democrat pulled the fire alarm yesterday to try to stop the 45-day extension bill from passing, because if he would have stalled it for another 30, 40 minutes, the deadline would have passed and there would have been a short shutdown. And then the Democrats could have said there was a shutdown. The Republicans shut the government down. So he literally pulled the fire alarm, and he got caught on camera doing it. I mean, it's like, come on, there's a camera in there? Come on, man.
I hope he gets slammed in jail for that.
Well, people have done far worse in the Capitol. Let me tell you something. But anyway, thank you for the call, Patricia. I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate you joining us today.
Blessings.
Thank you. 402-558-1110. All right. So I mentioned that Sophos renewals are coming. So just a quick heads up there that if you do get a phone call or an email from staff members, it is legitimate. Your antivirus is up for renewal, and it's important that you renew it, especially there's like 45 people last month that did not renew, an unusually large number. So maybe, I don't know, is that the economy? I don't know. But, if we don't remove the Sophos software from your computer, if you don't want to renew it, we have to uninstall your software. You can't uninstall it. There's a tamper protection code. That's not to keep you out. It's to keep bad guys from removing your antivirus. Right now, even though it's the first, everything is still in effect because we're going to go through and we're going to contact each customer, find out what they want us to do before we just delete your service. But there does come a point where we have to just chop it. And when that time comes, we only have 90 days that we can go back and actually look up that tamper code to remove it from your computer. If that 90 days expires, we can't look up the tamper code anymore. And the tamper code changes every 4 minutes. So it's not like we can give you the code and then, days from now you can uninstall it. It's got to be done in real time. So if you get a call from us about Sophos, it is a real call. It is a big deal. If you get an email, it is a real email. Give us a call back. Shoot us an email back. We're happy to get you taken care of. Also, ExpressVPN is raising its price 17%. I've recommended Express here on the program before. They have a new feature called Keys, and a listener asked me to talk about it. So Keys is a password manager. It's very much like the password manager that I use in Firefox, that I get for free in Firefox. It's completely encrypted. It's a zero trust system, which means my passwords are not being sent up to an administrative server and stored there so they can be distributed to all my accounts. So when I log into my Firefox account, I have a two-factor authentication set up on my Firefox account, so it has to be me. You have to have my password, and you have to have my cell phone in order to get logged in. Once I'm logged in, then my passwords are downloaded to my device where they are then decrypted on my local device. So they're never decrypted on the server up at Firefox. This is the same way that Keys is doing it with ExpressVPN. It's called a zero trust system. In other words, you have zero trust in anybody but yourself. So you don't want to give your passwords to Express or Firefox or anybody else. You're going to store them on your devices, and you can even put a password on the passwords if you wanted to on your local devices, if you wanted to with Firefox. But Keys is another password manager you can get. I'm buying a VPN because I want a VPN. And ExpressVPN, I double-checked the ratings. ZDNet still ranks ExpressVPN the number one VPN service for desktop computers and laptop computers, and the number 2 VPN for mobile devices. So literally, guys, Express is one of the best VPNs that you can get out there anywhere. I'm not super excited to buy a VPN to get a password manager. I don't want a 17% price increase and give me a password manager. I already have a free password manager that is perfectly good for most consumers. That's completely encrypted, has a zero trust system, all the benefits that ExpressVPN's Keys gives you, I can get free with Firefox. So why would I pay extra to do this? And so now one of the other things that is kind of frustrating me about ExpressVPN, I don't know how many of you might use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but if you put ExpressVPN on your device, your Apple CarPlay and your Android Auto will no longer function because they require location data about your device to work, which is kind of shady, but they require it. It literally just won't work. So the only workaround is to turn off the VPN for all apps on your cell phone, and then individually add each app back in for coverage. So your base cell phone doesn't have any protection, but all the apps are VPN'd and walled off. So it's better than a poke in the eye with a stick. But I'm not too happy with ExpressVPN because I can't use it with Apple Auto or with Android CarPlay. Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. I would pay 17% if they fix that. Don't give me a password manager that I don't want. But anyway, thank you for asking about it. I'm glad that we could cover it on the program today. I am way late for a break, guys, so we're going to take a quick one here. But when I come back, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, do you see people standing outside the Apple store all into the evening the other day, last week when it was released? I walked by and I'm just like, there's still people out here. Holy cow, I didn't realize people still lined up for these things. It's a phone. I thought everybody had a phone now. Well, some people got a little bit more heat than they bargained for with the iPhone 15. We're going to tell you about it coming up next on Compute This.
Have you noticed that almost every piece of technology seems to do its best to be disposable? Every day, people toss their phones, tablets, and other electronic devices because they can't be repaired. Manufacturers have engineered their products to fail on a schedule so they can extract more money out of your family budget automatically every year or so. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if you could get the performance of today's fastest computers with the expansion and upgrade options you used to enjoy? You just described Schrock's modular desktop computers. Having the right tool for the job is important, and Schrock's modular desktop PCs pack the performance and flexibility to handle your computing needs, from just checking the email to running a complex business. Modular desktops are engineered to be easily repaired with widely available industry standard parts. Every component is selected intentionally to give you years of upgrade and repair options. It is not uncommon for a Schrock customer to be using the same computer for a decade after they bought it. Modular PCs are the most popular custom computers in the Midwest for a reason. When you are ready for your next computer, stop in to check out the modular lifestyle or shop online at SchrockInnovations.com.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business.
Schrock Innovations solid-state laptops are engineered locally for speed and reliability you just can't get from the major national brands. Each of our laptops starts off with an Asus chassis. We remove the stock drives and memory and upgrade them with higher-performing components. This unlocks the full potential of the laptop, making the unit up to 25% faster. This is why Schrock's solid-state laptops last so much longer than the competition. If your laptop starts out 25% faster, that means over time it doesn't slow down nearly as fast.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back in. Compute This. Rolling on. Halftime is over. We finished halftime in the third quarter here. It's just, I'm running a little bit behind, kind of like the Huskers. I'm running a little bit behind right now, but don't worry, we'll eventually catch up. That was rough. I mean, it was expected yesterday against Michigan, but that was rough. 402-558-1110, 888-250-2091. I want to have my relatives from Iowa over last week. So after we watched the Huskers have a triumphant victory, the first victory of the Rule era, then we switched over to the Iowa game, and he was like, now you can see how they really play football. And I was like, oh, but I can't argue with that. All right, guys. So let's jump back into the phones there. Kathy, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Well, I purchased that safe upgrade that you were talking about that we're going to need
Yes,
for
ma'am.
when Microsoft puts it through. Am I going to get any kind of a warning to run it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so basically you'd have to be dead to not know it's time to run it because we call you, we email you, we send text messages. There are some smoke signals from the service center, but is that a wildfire or is it time to run safe upgrade? I don't know. So of course you'll hear it here on the radio as well. I'll do a live stream on the Facebook page to make sure it pops up in your notifications. So if you click like and follow for the Facebook stuff, then you'll get the notification there as well. And then of course we will keep notifying you every few days. Basically, we can see who has run it and who hasn't, and so then we get more persistent with those laggards, and we find out that some people are on vacation, and that's why they're not running it, and that's cool. Sorry to bother you on vacation. We just wanted to make sure we weren't ignoring you, but we'll definitely get a hold of you when it's time to go.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Well, I'm glad to have you as a customer, Kathy. Thank you for your purchase. I really appreciate the trust that you're putting in us to make sure that the update goes good, because the tears and the gnashing of teeth and the pulling of hair are never fun to see at the front desk, but inevitably it'll happen. Someone's like, I knew I should have bought that, and they didn't, and then but I get it. Sometimes you throw the dice. Sometimes you have to. It just depends on where you're at.
Oh, yeah.
All right, thank you, Kathy. Appreciate the call today.
Okay.
All righty. 402-558-1110. Outside the Omaha Metro, 888-250-2091. So I mentioned the iPhone 15 is a little too hot to handle for some people. This is the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. Z-Dog on the Facebook page says he's got an iPhone 11 and he's thinking about upgrading to the 14 or the 15. If you can get a 14, so you can still get 14s, and the 14s are much cheaper than the 15s right now because obviously everybody wants the 15. As we discussed a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, the iPhone 15 has a new design. It's basically the housing is made of titanium, which is new. It basically used to be aluminum, right? Aluminum conducts heat really easily. So what would end up happening is if you left the phone in the car, for example, and the sun coming in the window would heat up the aluminum on the phone, which would heat up the phone, which would stop the phone from charging because it's too hot. So Apple, in an attempt to shield the internal components from exterior heat coming in, changed the body to a titanium body. And the titanium is much less dense, so it doesn't transfer heat as easily. Your science lesson for today. It doesn't transfer heat like aluminum does. In fact, it hardly transfers it at all. But then Apple knows that the stuff inside the device is going to create heat, and that heat needs to get out. The Apple Bionic 17 processor and its graphic coprocessor is amazingly fast. In fact, they were marketing this phone as the first phone that could play like grade AAA video games. Like this thing can rock and roll, but it's going to generate some heat when it does that. If you're pushing it, it's going to get hot. And so they had to dissipate that heat somehow. Well, the shell doesn't allow heat to go through it, so they put an aluminum coating inside the shell to spread the heat from the device evenly across the whole shell to try to increase the rate at which the heat will escape. Even though it's not transmitting the heat as quickly, it still transmits heat. So the inside of the phone can get hot from its own use, and sometimes too hot. What's getting so hot, actually, that some people can't hold the phone in their hand because it's so hot. It will burn your hand. That should not be happening. Obviously, Apple tests their stuff before they sell it. So how did this get through? And these people aren't doing any crazy things like, you'd think that maybe they're doing some kind of 3D video game, or, this is somebody who downloaded an app and installed an app on the phone. Wasn't playing a game, just installed an app and was using the phone for email. And it got so hot in his hand that he couldn't hold the phone. And the videos are all over the internet. But then the weird thing is some people have the problem and some people don't. So they're like, some people are like, I don't have it. Well, there are two different hardware versions of the iPhone, the one that we have here in the United States and the one that's around in the rest of the world. Right now, Apple has not said what's going on yet, but right now the leading speculation is that there's a difference in the circuit board, and maybe one got tested differently than the other one, or there was a component change at the last moment. Something changed in between testing and release that somebody thought wasn't going to be a big deal, and it turns out it's going to be a real big deal. So in the US, we have eSIMs now. We don't have SIM card slots on the phones anymore. Every other country in the world still uses physical SIM cards. So all the iPhones you're going to get in Europe, South America, Canada, all those places, they're going to have SIM card slots. So the circuit board inside the phone is a different shape to accommodate that slot, that card to go in. In the United States, we don't need those cards anymore. So our phones have a different circuit board. They spread everything out a little bit more, dissipate that heat a little better. And there's some thought that perhaps the design difference in the circuit board might be the cause of why phones in the United States are overheating and phones overseas are not. And so there's something there. But basically, Apple's got a couple of choices here. Either one, it's a hardware issue that they're going to have to recall the phones on, which probably is not going to happen. Or two, they're going to have to push a software patch that takes that amazing Bionic 17 processor and slows it down. They're going to have to throttle the phone to make it generate less heat. And my guess is that's how they're going to do it. Now, there is some secret sauce and some magic things that Apple can do, that they can throttle this chip and make it not feel as, not feel slower. But needless to say, if you're buying an iPhone 15 Pro Max, the biggest, baddest, most awesome iPhone you can buy right now, because you want the fastest, biggest, baddest, best iPhone you can get right now, know that Apple's probably going to throttle it, because you might not be able to hold it in your hand if they don't. If you're looking at an iPhone, this might actually be a reason to maybe not look at the Pro or the Pro Max and just get the regular iPhone 15. It does not have the overheating problem. So Apple is still working on figuring out. We'll keep you up to speed here as we learn more. 402-558-1110. We got a full bank of calls here. We're going to try to peg through a couple of these real quick. I got one more break I still have to take here. Eric, welcome. Oh, sorry, Dale. Dale is first. Dale, welcome to the show. How can I help you today on Compute This? Dale, are you with me? Hold on just a second. We got to push a bunch of buttons here. There we go, Dale. I think I can hear you now.
Is this Thor's son?
Hot diggity, it sure is.
Okay. I was wondering when your holiday catalog is going to be printed.
That's a great question, because I went to my wife yesterday. She said she had that sick look on her face. She goes, it's only however many days until Christmas. And I'm like, it's only 30 days until the holiday special launches. And she was like, bloop, because she makes the catalog. So I'm like, are you ready for me to bring home the displays yet to do the photo shoot? Because we do those photo shoots at my house. My wife sets up the backgrounds and everything, and she puts up the Christmas tree in the background. So we're putting up a Christmas tree in October in our living room.
Oh,
and then
we want to rush the holidays on you.
Well, it's all right. We take it down again because we still got to do Thanksgiving, and it's not cool to have the tree up before Thanksgiving. I mean, you could, I guess, you could have a Thanksgiving tree, or a Halloween tree, Nightmare Before Christmas tree. But anyway, so it's got to do its photo shoot still, and she needs some data from me on the new upgrade options that we're introducing this year, and then of course we got to put it through proof. So and it takes about 2 weeks to get printed. So she's got about 7 days to crack out the catalog. She's probably listening right now, and she's like, oh, I was going to try to sleep a little bit longer, but now I can't. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
All right. Now the impossible question.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why they can't make modular laptops?
There's one company out there that's working on doing it. The main reason is because they're not sexy. They are big, they're clunky, they have big parts that snap on and off. It looks like a laptop from the 90s, and they're heavy. But there's one company that's making something like that with a removable communications module and a removable, drive module and things like that. The problem with it is they're incredibly expensive. Like, we've tried to call this company before to say, hey, we're willing to partner with you to number one, sell some more of your units, because they're kind of nice, and I have some customers that would pay for these. But you guys are going to have some kind of a reseller program, because we can't buy these laptops for $2,000 and then mark them up and resell them. No one's going to pay that for these. Especially
maybe they should subsidize it like they do the electric cars.
Yeah. We just got to get Biden to subsidize these high efficiency computers. They're so much better for the environment because you don't have to throw them away every 2 years. It works out.
Well, I hear cab drivers in Europe don't like the electric cars.
Oh, a lot of cabbies, especially the robot ones. Thanks for the call, Dale. I appreciate it. Eric, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
So I have a question. I get the preview to the Windows 11 stuff, and this new thing popped up called Copilot.
Yeah, you like that? The AI assistant.
Scary.
Yeah, it's ChatGPT directly in your operating system now. You don't have to use it. You can turn it off and you can unpin it from the taskbar. But basically, it's using Bing's ChatGPT integration, and you can ask it to do things on your computer. So you can ask the Copilot, like, I need to change my power management settings, and it'll take you to the page to change your power management settings. So the idea is to make it's almost like the F1 key. It's about as helpful as the F1 key always was, which is not helpful at all. Press F1 for help.
Right.
Nobody, everyone, or it's slightly better than F1 and slightly worse than Clippy. So it's somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah, I when I saw it, it looked like ChatGPT, so I asked it if Microsoft was using the quantum computers as part of the tools for it to get its answers, and its answer was really long and complex, but fundamentally it was yes.
Oh, golly. Thank you for the call, Eric. I appreciate it. I mean, that's just one of the things that you're going to see. And when I say they're changing everything in this new version of Windows 11, that's what Eric is talking about. He's got the preview version, the one that I'm looking at, with all the different changes. And they keep releasing new preview versions like every week because they still are gnashing bugs. So definitely check out Safe Upgrade when you're hitting the website to pick up your maintenance checkup certificate. We're going to go ahead and scrub the last break, I think, Roger, and just keep going, if that's okay. It's my show. You do it. Well, hot dang. All right. Well, no more breaks. I don't need a break. Anne, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Thor.
Yeah.
I'm calling because about a month ago I got contacted by a company I do business with that my information was in a data breach.
Okay.
And so this company has offered me 2 years of basically surveillance by something that I don't know is going to be all that good.
Right.
What I was wondering, I've had the Sophos on my phone and my computer since you brought it out, so it's been a couple of years. I don't know, but once there's already the breach, does the Sophos protect me in any way?
Yeah, well, Sophos is your security software. It's your antivirus software. So what it does is it keeps malicious software from running on your device. So in other words, if somebody targeted your device and then tried to get access to your credit cards or your data or your emails or your contacts, Sophos would stop that from happening. Sophos doesn't do anything for credit monitoring, though. It's not an identity theft protection.
Well, once they already have once the information's already out there, having Sophos on these devices doesn't keep them from doing any more damage?
Oh, no. Well, basically, it's two different things. So what you have is an identity theft risk right now. Somebody can access your credit. Somebody can access your identity. But Sophos is designed to protect your physical devices from people remotely accessing them. So Sophos will continue to do what it's always done for you and make sure that nobody gets into those devices and does nasty, mean things to you. But the identity theft protection is a separate thing. And some people get confused about this primarily because of the Norton LifeLock product. Norton and LifeLock teamed up and made a new company, and they combined a junky antivirus product with a junky identity theft protection product, and stuck it together and said, hey, 2 junky products for the price of 1. How about that? And people are like, yay! And you're like, oh, you just shake your head. You're like, please don't use that stuff, guys. This is the same engine they were using when George Bush was on in office. Like, it is junk compared to what you need for modern protection for your devices.
Right.
But anyway, so no, I would recommend, if you're concerned about your credit stuff, the credit monitoring is definitely the way to go. You can also put a credit freeze on if you want. My wife had to do that when she got a similar situation. Somebody breached somebody else, and she put a credit freeze on, and it even prevents people from checking her credit which has been kind of nice because her credit score has been going up because, all those rando people that check your credit without your permission, they can't do it anymore, and it helps your score. So, it's not a bad idea.
Okay. I'll look into that.
All right. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate you joining us on the show today. I mentioned at the start of the program that a U.S. F-35 fighter jet, you may have seen this in the news. There was a situation, they call it a mishap. It's like if my son crashed my Mustang and said, Dad, I had a mishap. So they had a mishap in an F-35 stealth fighter jet where the pilot was on a training mission in the United States and ended up ejecting from the plane. And the plane was still on autopilot, and the plane continued to go flying about its merry little way on autopilot. And, they knew how much fuel was on board, so they figured out, I could fly about this long. And they didn't know where it crashed. They were like, we don't know where the plane is because it's a stealth plane. It's not like we can hit it on radar and see where it's at. And people online, it was hilarious. People were like, I can't believe there's not like a locator or like an air tag or something. And you're just like, it's a stealth fighter jet. Why would you possibly have a radio signal emitting from it so you could locate it? That is the opposite of stealth. Of course they can't find it. It's a stealth aircraft. That made sense. That's about the only thing from the whole story that made sense, though. So pilots don't eject from planes that are perfectly capable of flight. Even planes that are malfunctioning but still flying, the pilot's going to stay in the seat until they can't anymore. Now, why would a pilot eject from the seat, in theory, if the plane perhaps dropped below a certain altitude level where it was no longer safe to eject anymore? So if it was going down slowly, if you will, and he had to eject while he was still in a safe range, that, possible, right? But the pilot ejected, and what one of the sources that I've read had pointed out is, of course, the pilot survived, so they interviewed the pilot. So the U.S. Air Force knows exactly what happened to this plane because they interviewed the pilot and asked him, why did you eject? Why did you have a mishap? Then all of a sudden there was a 2-day ground stop of not just F-35s, but all United States planes. Now, again, this is not uncommon after a mishap. Usually it's relegated to like just the F-35s, or something like that. But there have been a couple, 2 or 3 really serious aviation crashes over the last few days. And so the U.S. government did a full ground stop on all aircraft and said, we're going to take this opportunity to sit all of our pilots down and remind them that crashing is bad. Because they need the reminder apparently because they keep crashing. So what's going on? We had an Osprey that went down. We had a helicopter that went down. Now we have an F-35 stealth jet that goes down. So what's going? There was some speculation that the jet may have been hacked. I have a source that I would put confidence at C level on this source. I don't know him well enough to say he's an A-level source, but C-level source that says his connections in the intelligence community say, hey, heck yes, this was hacked, that the plane was hacked. So I started looking into it a little bit. I'm like, could it have been hacked? And it turns out that there was a Chinese businessman who, let me see, continue without disabling. Chinese businessman pleads guilty to spying on F-35 and F-22 planes. This happened in 2014. Stole basically all the secrets about these planes and sent them to China, which allowed China to accelerate their stealth fighter jet program. So it's entirely possible that this was hacked by China or a Chinese intermediary or somebody looking to test what they could do. Did they eject the pilot? Who knows? Did they cause a false readout in the cockpit that made the pilot decide to eject? Who knows? Did they continue to fly the plane autonomously by themselves after how were they communicating? Was there a Chinese balloon in the sky controlling the airplane? Who knows? We certainly don't. But anyway, it is entirely possible that this F-35, because it has several vulnerabilities that have not been addressed since 2014, and it's not running Sophos. So there are several possible reasons why this could have been a hack. Pat, congratulations. You're the winner of the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Stay tuned for the Aftershock coming up next, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, and we'll see you next week, guys.
From the